Welcome to That's Good Sports. I'm Brandon. If I drove as fast as Antonio Brown, I might be able to outrun the massive amounts of debt I have accumulated through trying to climb the social ladder that is this bullshit material life I have been brainwashed into desiring perna. The only thing that debt collectors can't take away is this YouTube channel, so please subscribe here, and I will keep giving you great prediction episodes every week for every NFL game with Nathan Peterman-like accuracy. This is Week 10 NFL Game Picks. This episode is sponsored by BetDSI.com, one of the best and most trusted sports books out there. Use my code GS100, and when you make your first deposit at BetDSI, they will match it up to $1,000. That is $1,000 they are giving you to gamble with. Now you can bet on any of the sports games your heart desires. I'm gonna go through all of the football games, their point spreads, their over-unders in this episode. Again, promo code GS100, link in the description. Let's start with the New England Patriots versus the Tennessee Titans. Patriots are 6.5-point favorites, and the over-under is 46.5. We've got Mike Vrabel coaching against his former team, and Dion Lewis and Malcolm Butler playing against their former team. They're probably looking to get some revenge, which means they are playing right into Bill Belichick's wrinkly, liver-spotted, but surprisingly well-moisturized hands. Now in a game like this, you might see Mike Vrabel try and beat Belichick at his own game and bench Malcolm Butler, aka the only defensive back Deion Sanders knows on the Titans. Assuming Vrabel knows that letting the opposing team score 41 points on you isn't part of that plan, they might just pull it off. Now I don't know what's more impressive, this fake handoff, sales job by Marcus Mariota, which he did against the Cowboys, or Bill Belichick putting an end to the Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers debate once and for all.
Great job. Good luck. Great story, man. No, you are. You are. Awesome. Yeah, good luck.
Aaron is the best. You heard it from Bill. Patriots don't cover, but they do win this game when the Titans beat themselves in the fourth quarter with some stupid mistake like every other fucking team that plays the Patriots. Detroit Lions at Chicago Bears. Bears, 6.5-point favorites, over under 44. Lions and Tigers and Bears, oh my. If only Matthew Stafford had a heart so he could beat a team with a winning record. If only Matt Patricia had a brain so he could answer questions about the Golden Tate trade. And if only I had the courage to pick the Lions on the road. Khalil Mack should be back on the field Sunday to help a defense that is already second best in takeaways, 7th in sacks, facing a battered Matthew Stafford who cannot feel confident after being sacked 10 fucking times last weekend. The only person I've seen win after taking a beating like that is Rocky, and that was fiction. Wide receiver Allen Robinson should also be back on the field for the Bears. I think they cover and win at home. Atlanta Falcons at Cleveland Browns. Falcons 6.5-point favorites, over under 50.5. Gregg Williams treats every player like they're about to take his daughter to prom. Listen to me, Baker. If you don't have this offense back by 12, I've got $10,000 to make sure you end up like Brett Favre. To which Baker Mayfield responded, one of the best to ever play the game with 297 consecutive starts, a Super Bowl ring, and generally loved by all football fans? Baker's obviously too young to remember Bountygate, and this was Gregg Williams' response. Now that Julio Jones has busted his touchdown cherry, I expect him to slut it up in the end zone after relearning how good it feels to score. Plus, we got Bruce Irvin channeling his inner Khalil Mack by switching to the number 52, which is like me putting on a Jon Stewart mask, thinking that will make me funny and bring this show the same success Stewart brought to The Daily Show. Falcons win and easily cover the spread. New Orleans Saints versus Cincinnati Bengals. Saints, 5-point favorites, over under 53.5. Now, a lot of people think the Bengals can upset the Saints because Drew Brees has to play outside. By a lot of people, though, I mean head coach Marvin Lewis, quarterback Andy Dalton, and all of Marvin Lewis and Andy Dalton's family members. Except for Andy's cousin Chris, who secretly roots against Andy every week because he's tired of hearing his mother say, "Why can't you be more like your cousin Andy? You're older than him, and you still live with your dad and me. You can't be an unemployed virgin your whole life, Chris. What are you gonna do with your life, Chris? Why can't you be like Andy, Chris?" Like Sean Payton, I'm not sure if Dez Bryant will play this week. The weird thing, though, is Sean Payton and cousin Chris's mom both think Dez Bryant is about 5 pounds overweight. They're so judgmental, those two. The Saints will win this game, especially since AJ Green is out with an injury. Jacksonville Jaguars at Indy Colts. The Colts are 2.5-point favorites with an over-under of 47. In real life, a Jaguar would kill a baby horse and feed it to its family with ease. In football life, Blake Bortles wouldn't be able to see a galloping, wide-open Colt running down the sideline and hit him for a game-winning pass if his life depended on it. Now, the greatest mystery in the world is, well, probably the female orgasm. But the greatest mystery in the football world, is what the fuck do Doug Marrone and Tom Coughlin see in Blake Bortles that literally no other football person sees? Blake is dealing with an injury. They had a pass to not start him against the Colts this week, but it looks like they are doubling down on their stupidity and starting Bortles. Now let me know in the comments, what's a bigger waste this season? The Jags defense or Aaron Rodgers? Running back Marlon Mack for the Colts is coming off a back-to-back 100-plus yard rushing games. He scored 4 touchdowns in the last couple games, and Andrew Luck with the running back should be enough to beat Jacksonville in Indy. Buffalo Bills at New York Jets. The Jets are 7-point favorites, over under 36.5. Sam Darnold was not practicing this week and was spotted wearing a walking boot. The easiest way for a QB to stop throwing interceptions is to fake an injury. It's basically what the Bills have been doing with their quarterbacks every other week this season. Jets will win. Washington Redskins potatoes at Tampa Bay Bucks. The Bucks are 3-point favorites at home, over under 51. Here's some trivia for you. Can you name the 4 quarterbacks from the 2005 draft that are still active in the NFL? I'll give you a hint. 2 of them are in this game. Another hint, Aaron Rodgers doesn't play for either the Redskins or the Buccaneers. Derek Anderson is one of those quarterbacks, and the other 2 are in this game. And who would have guessed a guy who was benched every other year until 2011 would make it this far? And who would have guessed a bearded man from Harvard would become one of the longest playing quarterbacks in the NFL instead of going on to write Civil Disobedience Part 2? Harvard bearded graduates. Legendary writers, legendary bombers, and legendary quarterbacks. And yes, I was in fact Henry David Thoreau in a past lifetime. And if I were an NFL quarterback, I would be Ryan Fitzpatrick. And because of those things that I just said, that's why I'm picking Alex Smith and the Skins to win this game. Arizona Cardinals at Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are now 16-point favorites. They were 15.5, over under 49.5. Look, I've got the balls to say it. Patrick Mahomes, he's not perfect. And I don't care what his 29 touchdown passes say, okay? He is the first quarterback I have ever seen get penalized for intentional grounding while spiking the football. Unless you're a Raiders fan, you'll never see a sequence of events as stupid and as boring as that. The play clock stops after a penalty during NFL games in the final few minutes of a half or a final few minutes of the game. And I guess it's a penalty if the QB spikes the football and the clock is stopped. And then there's a 10-second runoff since that happens in the final 2 minutes, but a team can stop the runoff if they have a timeout. I didn't know any of that shit, but was pissed off I had to learn it, just like chemistry. And now I hope you're pissed that I fucking taught it to you. And just like chemistry, to anyone who is not a scientist, picking against the Chiefs is useless. Justin Houston may return on a limited basis, and the Chiefs get safety Daniel Sorensen back. Now, it's not the safety Chiefs fans wanted to return, but Sorensen will do. He'll do just fine. The Cardinals only play well against division rivals, so I expect the Chiefs to cover the spread too. Los Angeles Superchargers versus Oakland Raiders. Chargers, 9.5-point favorites, over under 50.5. My question is, how are there still fans left for either of these teams? The The Chargers moved to a city where no one cares about them, and the Raiders are on the verge of moving while trading away anyone that gives them the slightest chance of winning. It's like getting rid of your couch and TV, dousing your entire house in gasoline, and expecting people to stay inside of it. If you would have at least kept the TV and had Game of Thrones on, people would be willing to burn to the ground with you, John Gruden. But you'd fuck that up too, throwing in the only purchased Blu-ray of the Knight Rider reboot. At this point though, I am rooting for the Chargers to win a Super Bowl this season. They're a good team with a fan base that won't travel the 12 hours it takes to drive 120 miles in traffic from San Diego to LA, but they might hop on a 4-hour flight to Atlanta in February to watch Phillip Rivers battle former Chargers quarterback Drew Brees. The Chargers, who really have had 0 home games this year, could be deadly on the road in the playoffs. Because that's all the Chargers win. Miami Dolphins at Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay men of packing are 9.5-point favorites, over under 47. The only thing that's longer than the list of reasons the Packers have lost this season, not named Aaron Rodgers, is the list of PEDs Tony Mandarich took to get into the NFL and play for the Packers.
Winstrol V, Finaject, Equipoise, Anadrol 50s, Anavar, Testosterone, Dynabol.
Clay Matthew, the referees, Mason Crosby, Aaron Jones, Ty Montgomery, have been the opposite of PEDs for Aaron Rodgers this season, making him weaker, more vulnerable, and wasting his football God-given talent just like the drug addiction did for Mandarich. The Dolphins may be the worst 5-win team in the league. Their only impressive win this season was the 31-28 victory over the Bears, fueled by Brock Osweiler's 380-yard and 3-touchdown performance. And the only team Green Bay has defeated in the last 4 games is the 49ers, but that was before they discovered future Hall of Famer Nick Mullens. Now, I do believe the Packers win at home, and I do think, even though he couldn't have known it then, Tony Mandarich was actually describing Aaron Rodgers here.
Supposed to be as strong as I am, you're not supposed to be as fast as I am, you're not supposed to be as good as I am.
My only question now is, can the Packers kick their habit of losing the way Mandarich did and make a late season comeback, a redemption story by supporting number 12, which is the exact number of steps Mandarich took in his return to the NFL. It's a feel-good story. Seahawks at Rams. LA. 9.5-point favorites, over under, and even fat. Remember when the Rams were bad, but they would always find a way to beat the Seahawks once a year? Maybe it's reversed now, and the Seahawks are going to come in as an underdog and beat the Rams. And yes, my beating Goff jokes will cease now that Drew Brees has beat Goff. I also don't think the Seahawks will win. Last week's loss, really, for the Rams was just revenge for Todd Gurley not scoring a go-ahead touchdown from the football gods. Dallas Cowboys at Philly Eagles. The Eagles are Philly 7-point favorites, over under 43.5. The Cowboys are the least deserving team in the NFL of primetime games. They suck so bad the Titans outscored them by 14 points on Monday Night Football. Tennessee scored 28 points against a Dallas defense that's supposed to be good. It usually takes the Titans 2.5 weeks to accomplish 28 points. Carson Wentz threw 3 touchdowns against Jacksonville and completed 81% of his passes against Carolina. I hope the Eagles embarrass the Cowboys so badly that Skip Bayless spends all of Monday simply agreeing with Shannon Sharpe for 3 hours. Eagles win by 25-30. New York Giants at San Fran 49ers. Niners 3.5-point favorites, over under 44. Based on the history of Southern Miss quarterbacks wearing the number 4, I would say there's a 100% chance of Nick Mullens going to the Hall of Fame. Well, actually, I forgot about Austin Davis, so more like 50% chance. Those are still actually pretty good odds. Like every true American who likes a feel-good story, I'm taking the 49ers in hopes that Nick Mullens continues to look like a god amongst boys slicing and dicing through terrible defenses. Slightly better defense this week, Nick. And since this is a primetime game, I am contractually obligated to say Odell Beckham Jr., Saquon Barkley, and Eli Manning. Niners win 2 in a row. Thanks for watching the Picks episode here on That's Good Sports. I'm on Instagram at Brandon Perna if you want to follow me there. We do a podcast every Thursday on my second channel, That's Good Podcasts, with Will Keys, who helps me write these episodes. Super funny dude. Follow Will Keys on Twitter at WillKeys6. Football, fucking ball.